During the last 12 months of this federal parliament and federal government, there will be much talk about jobs and job creation from the Liberal Party and from the Labor opposition. But regrettably, so much of this will just be talk, because when you look at the track record of the Liberal Party and the Labor Party, many of their policies in recent years have not been job creators but job destroyers. For example, Hobart is a university town, and the University of Tasmania is a major social and economic driver and a big employer. But yet the previous federal Labor government cut $4 billion from tertiary education nationally, which had a big effect locally. The current federal Liberal government, if it gets its way, will cut another $5 billion from the tertiary sector nationally, and again, that will have a big effect locally. The Greater Hobart area is also a very important area nationally for science and research. Indeed, it is said that the Greater Hobart area has a greater number of scientists per capita than any other capital city in the country. But yet the previous federal Labor government cut 139 jobs from CSIRO locally, and the current federal Liberal government has cut another 59 jobs from CSIRO locally. But it's not just the university and science and research which has borne the brunt of the Liberal and Labor Party's job-destroying policies. We're also seeing a complete lack of support when it comes to defence work that really could be going to the Prince of Wales Bay Defence Precinct. Let's not forget, INCAT makes the world's best high-technology, high-speed catamarans. Vessels that have been used by the Royal Australian Navy and the US Navy with great success in the past. But where's their work now? There's a lot of focus on South Australia and Western Australia, when here in southern Tasmania we could do just as good a job making ocean-going vessels for the Australian Navy. Yet another example of how the Liberal and Labor parties are not doing everything they can to support jobs in southern Tasmania, and in the Denison electorate in particular, is the way in which the government, with the Labor opposition support, is now not delivering on the $16 million of economic stimulus spending that was promised to the Denison electorate and Glenorchy City in particular before the last election. That money's now been pulled by the Liberal government, and the Labor opposition is quite happy to go along with the decision. There is an unprecedented level of dismay in the community right now with politics and politicians. And no wonder why. You know, we're talking today about jobs and the need for jobs growth in southern Tasmania. And so many of the policies by the Liberal and Labor parties in recent years have been entirely counterproductive. Well, they need to lift their game. They need to turn things around, and they can do that. They can commit to restoring funding for the university. The Liberal and Labor parties can commit to restoring funding for science and research and creating jobs again back at organisations like the CSIRO and the Australian Antarctic Division. The Liberal and Labor parties can commit firmly to sending valuable defence work to the manufacturing industries in this part of the world, and in particular in the Defence Precinct at Prince of Wales Bay. But you know what? These specific spending initiatives would just be the start of it, because what we really need is the Liberal and Labor parties to come up with some good policies that will get the older unemployed back into the workforce, policies that will get the very large number of young unemployed into a job. There's a whole range of things that can be done that will not just create some jobs now, but they will create good jobs that will last over time and put southern Tasmania on a credible pathway to full employment.